there was two witnesses apparently. It says that
one of them was reported as saying, "You ain't gonna believe this shit."
Yeah.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread, but sex they care way too much, but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
You know what? I'll start. Hey, everybody. Here we are. It's the WellRED podcast. I'm going to show y'all something that's been disturbing me for 2 days. You see this right here? I think everybody would recognize this as a plush Woody doll, correct?
Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So a plush version of the toy Woody from Toy Story. Look here on the back. It's got a fake pull string, right? It's got a fake pull string, meaning that this is not a plush of the cowboy. This is a plush of the toy. You know what I mean? Like, this is a toy.
Well, the cowboy has it too.
The cowboy is the toy. There's no toy.
Is the toy. Like,
they're not separate from each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's what I'm saying, though. But you would think that there would be some. Well, they are separate of each other in that there was a show in Toy Story 2. We find out that he was also a puppet. You know what I mean?
Right. But why would they? If they're making a plush, they would make it of the doll, because the doll is the famous one.
I hear
like
you.
The doll is the iconic character.
I hear you, but right.
His whole thing is trying to deal with exactly what you're talking about. The crisis you're having is quite literally his arc into.
Yeah, like, it's how much more can we emasculate this motherfucker, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, he's based on a puppet, which I assume, but that it didn't have a pull string. They added that for the toy. So it's like, well, it's a toy, so we can have a pull string with him saying stuff. When this one, you're like,
but that's the one that got famous.
Yeah, I know that, but like, who gives a fuck? Like,
there's no real cowboy. There's puppet string, 2D, or the pull string. Those are you know what I mean?
We live in, like, the real world, and
right.
like, not Pixar world.
In the real world, all he is a toy.
In the real world, if a kid likes Woody, they like Woody the toy from Toy Story, and Woody the toy from Toy Story has a pull string on his back. So if you get a kid a plush of Woody, it should have.
I think he's just going to be pissed off that he'd be constantly trying to do this. Well, like, why can't I do this? But I also think
where I thought you were going with it is like it's annoying to put a fake pull string on a thing. I'm with you on that, but but then you sort of veered in a different direction than I was expecting. But yeah, especially a little kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Pull string on the back, they're going to be trying to fuck with it, and it don't do anything, and that's, you ought not do that.
And the way you say it assumes that we live in a world where a kid's going to get one, it's not going to have this, and they're going to be like, well, this can't be officially licensed because there's not the fake pull string on the back. Woody has a pull string. I just think that kids are more like kids. I don't think they think of him as so much as a toy. They've probably built like a lore for him. You know what I mean? Like, in their mind, it's a cowboy based on a real dude. And like, why wouldn't it be? Buzz Lightyear is based on a real dude.
But he has that.
He does have that.
He does have that.
I don't know why they didn't just give it a pull string.
Right. I know. And you do know too. That's what I was about to say. Here's all that actually happened. Whoever makes the plushies, the character of Woody has a pull string on the back. And they were like, well, we're not going to also build in a voice box and capability. Yeah, right. We have to put voice boxes in there, and then like a little electronics and an actual pulling mechanism that works. That's going to cost at least 6 more cents per doll.
Right.
Like, we're not going to do that.
But
so
it had to cost
we just
more
put
to
a
print
fake
Gray.
pull string. Probably no, it don't cost more.
Is that a ring sewn in, or is it drawn on?
No, it's just
drawn
printed.
on.
It's just drawn on. Just printed.
I hate that.
It's just
they need to
saving
at
money.
least throw one on.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just saying
it's
that's definitely why they did it.
Yeah, it's been bugging me for 2 days.
Like, carry it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hook it to a backpack.
We've got all those too. I mean, obviously. Also, dude, the whole the fact that Woody's pull string still works in Toy Story 3 is pretty sus. Like, no, it wouldn't. Like, not even a little bit. So much time had passed. Like, they acted like it was like, oh yeah, Woody, it sounds like a cheap speaker now. It's like, no, it wouldn't work at all. I'm not saying that he canonically then couldn't speak. I just don't think that his pull string would have worked. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I've seen 3. I just watched 2 literally
3
for
would
the
be your
first time
favorite
last
one.
night. So I don't want to speak out of turn here, but an infamous family story is the first time Andy's family went on vacation when I started dating her. I wasn't in enough to be invited, so I was asked to house
That
sit.
hits so much harder.
And they just had a toy. They had a toy that they didn't warn me about that just goes off. So at like pitch black, 1 a.m,
Drew
little
looked
dog
like
I'm dog
a
sitting,
redneck
jumped
Japanese
up, hair
horror
standing
movie.
up,
Fucking
click clacks into the front room. I'm like, what the fuck? I walk in there and I swear to God, I hear, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Dude, it's so scary.
That sounds like an
that I
Appalachian
become
ghost.
convinced. It's so scary that I become convinced her brothers have set up a camera of some sort and are watching me while laughing, fucking with me. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna go figure this out.
The sort of sketch,
and I went in
the
there.
sketch version of that, if you're setting it up as like a redneck version of those type, because again, for some reason, that feels like a Korean horror movie to me.
Yeah, of course.
Japanese or something. A little killer doll, but like then you hear the thing, you hear the click clacking around, whatever, and you turn the light on, and it's that little racist dancing Sambo thing that Corey texted.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my
dancing a jig towards you, and it fucking, it's still scary. You're
then
on
Brer Rabbit comes out and he's got yellow eyes.
I went to the wrong room. I turned on a light. I didn't hear it, and then I guess it had multiple sayings. Little lamb, little lamb. And I literally out loud go, what the fuck? And I marched into the room it was coming from, and it was a fucking doll. And it was at least as old as Woody was in the things. And then they also had that Bubba, talking Bubba. Hey, whoa, pull my finger off fart. So I grabbed the doll angrily, like I'm gonna break this fucking thing because it just gave me a heart attack. And Bubba goes, "What? Pull my finger and I'll fart." And I sat down and laughed till I cried.
They do make them better. They did make toys better back then, because also we have to understand that Woody actually, like, the movie comes out in 95, but we learn in 2 that Woody is actually a much older toy anyways. Like, he was more than likely one of Andy's parents' dolls, because the dude that, picks him up from Al's Toy Barn is like, you can't even find these. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even find these. This is crazy. So, like, it's possible that by the time we see Woody in 95, he's already a 30-year-old toy, and then 15 or so. So, I mean, but they did make things better back then. So, yeah, sure, maybe it worked.
Yeah, it had, like, something that causes cancer in it, holding it
lead,
together.
asbestos, hitting.
Yeah.
Works.
The bestest lead money can buy.
Yeah, have we talked? I'm sure we've talked about this before, but like, obviously vapes is like the easy answer, because it's like, well, they probably already do, but like, what do you think our asbestos and lead is going to be? Like when
microplastic.
Yeah, I guess we've already got it, huh? I forgot.
Receipt paper. Apparently, if you handle a receipt for like 5 minutes, that's like a normal person who doesn't have to do that. 6 months worth of microplastic just seeping into your skin and breathing it into.
You've just made me think of something I wanted to ask you both about, because you have little children. Also, Drew, you in particular, it's like, I'm interested. I don't think we've talked about this already. I was with a buddy of mine who's very, crunchy white, and he's got a baby. Also, his baby's like a baby, like a 6-month-old. And this dude, again, crunchy white, and not like the Aaron Rodgers way. He's, he's a good lefty and everything, him and his wife both. But he was talking about that their babies she's having to do like an elimination diet to figure out what's causing this like gastro distress for their baby and all this shit, and the breast milk and all this type of stuff. And he said they got all these other friends in the city where they live who also have babies, and it's all some kind of something and everything. And he goes, and I hadn't really thought about it. He's like, but dude, he's like, it makes you understand why, a fucking dude like RFK Jr. gets a platform or whatever. He was like, because
it's terrifying.
It's super frustrating. And it's like, what is causing this shit? And the idea that it's like, because you said that, and I was like, I don't want to sound Maha-y, but it's some kind of food processing thing or something, or some, something that's in food or dyes or something. I don't know, but like,
I mean, Europeans are always calling us out because they like look at our ingredients and they're like, we outlawed this
years ago,
15 years ago. And then sometimes a real like, oh, fuck off, good old boy will be like, yeah, because you just had one study that attached it. And it's like, okay, that might be true some of the time, but isn't it better to outlaw 10 chemicals and 2 of them was fine, but you also got rid of the 8 that was making the babies not be able to digest?
100%. Like overcorrecting is better.
Here's a perfect story.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say in a safety situation, overcorrecting is like kind of what you need to do at first. Like, of course you want to go hard.
It's the government's job. But instead they're like, I don't know about that, but how about we give somebody who broke into someone's house one time 30 years in prison? I love the overcorrection when there's a human on the line. But if a company's going to lose money, buddy, let's be careful. All right, let me just tell you a quick story. And this is a Maha type person, and y'all know her. Don't say her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Andy's friend.
Shui.
The way that started was a 4-year mini doctor, some of whom told her it was all in her head. Some of whom
Dr. Trey Crowder
misdiagnosed her with insane things and gave her very intense, incorrect pills. And a chiropractor figured out she was allergic to gluten. Of course, that made her nuts.
It might have happened with Trey with his eyeballs. I'd be freaking out.
The whole system fails you, tells you you're crazy, and then a crazy man figures it out. And then, of course, when he's like, and also, by the way, why don't you gargle cordial silver and don't worry about the fact that it turns people blue? You're going to be like, I don't know, man. He's batting 1,000 in my life.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. But it still is like ironic and stuff too, because not that long ago, Michelle Obama was like,
broccoli,
maybe kids should eat slightly fewer cheeseburgers or whatever. And people were flipping the fuck out about it. And now, he does it and but they've since also gathered up a whole demographic of people that they kind of didn't have at that time. I feel like post-COVID, Aaron Rodgers types is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like those people, the Michelle Obama shit was going on, the people that hated her, they weren't really wrapped up in that yet, I feel like. And then anti-vax and all that shit and now RFK Jr. has pulled them into the fold. So it's not a one-to-one comparison.
Not 10 days ago, I was passive aggressively, not aggressively disinvited, but stopped being invited to dinner for 3 straight days for bringing that one. It's like, oh yeah, no, I saw what RFK was doing. It reminded me a lot of Michelle Obama and her plan to put kids on vegetables. And therefore I back it because it's similar to the one I backed then.
Yeah, it's just
I don't really remember that. Yes, you do. You were mad about
RFK
it.
Jr.
We talked.
RFK Jr. has so many things that I agree with him on. It's just the way that he gets to them. Like he'll say like we need to get rid of red dye, and I'm like absolutely. And then he'll be like, me and Joe Piscopo, Eiffel Towered a wolf. You know what I mean? And you're like, hold on, man. Like, why couldn't you just said the first part? Why'd you have to do that?
Well, you agree with him because he's a fucking Democrat. Like, that's how you agree with half of what he says, because you always felt half of what he says to be true.
But it's like, again, when he says like we have too many chemicals in our food, it's like, yes, we do. And then they'll go, and here's how we're going to. So it's one of those situations where it's like we all agree with the thesis. Y'all are just trying to get there in a very weird direction that we've tried to do for years.
It's also theater, man. They got a bunch of groups to promise to look into getting rid of red dye. It hasn't been outlawed. Nothing has changed. They did this big celebration week 3. Nothing has happened. And now the EPA has rolled back the outlaw. I don't remember what the name of the chemical is, on one of the gnarliest, most high birth defect cancer rate chemicals that they've ever done in America, which is saying something. I mean, if you live near a farm, dude, he's a charlatan, is what he is.
But also, it's like you pointed out, Drew. The other part that's ironic about it is it's like all those types of it's part of the same reason why they hated Michelle Obama, aside from just her being a black woman and saying it or whatever. But like, that's like big government shit. Like they think the government's not supposed to be able to
mess with the free market in that way.
Way the free market. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's been part of their
like when
purported philosophy for a long time. But now with this dude, it's now it's a good thing.
Yeah, when me and Trey went to the UK, like the thing that I was I mean, this is very fat of me, but like my main takeaway was like, ooh, their chocolate's better. You know what I mean? And not just like when you go to a fine chocolatier. I mean, like whatever their version of a Snickers is just it's incalculably better. And their reason is like, yeah, because if we tried to make a fucking Reese cup like y'all do, we'd go to jail. You know what I mean? So we have to, and it's like, and then it's also better. Like used to, I feel like when we used fake stuff, it was to make something hit a little harder. You know what I mean? Like Chewy Sprees, it wouldn't be good if it was just all
y'all
fruit.
should talk about that on Putting on Airs, dude. I think about that all the time. Rich people like wanted carpet and fake soap. And the poors had to do hardwood and instead of real soap, wash with a pine cone. And then because poor people have fucking culture, we made it hit. And they were like, we want that. Make them have the carpet and the chemicals. Bring me the pine cone.
And mark it up 10%.
Right. The chocolate, though, is I think, an opposite. Because you were like, oh, use fake shit to make something hit. And kind of. But with American chocolate, it was because it was trying to.
It's cheaper. It was a good idea at first.
Hershey's was the first company to figure out how to make chocolate accessible to poor / regular people back then, because it used to be like a luxury item for everybody else. And the way they did it was by basically stepping on it, with whatever else. And then, but then it like was a big hit. And
they called Marco in. There's that Marco, get in here.
But now it's.
You want to go straight? We got you a job.
But now that's like American chocolate standards or whatever. And then, but everywhere else it actually hits still.
Can I ask y'all a question you probably don't know the answer to, but if you do, wink at me. Is their drugs also better like their chocolate is? Do they also not be stepping on that?
I don't think. I'm trying to think. There might.
It can't be because it's further away from.
I'm pretty sure. I feel like I've heard that it's the opposite, but I could be wrong.
I think it is with Coke, and then maybe with party rave drugs. It's they have good ones because
you make those
Eastern European labs.
Come on in here, right?
Dude, imagine one of our uncles going over there and exploding a meth lab first day because he didn't know the metric system and he just put too much shit in. That'd be great.
That's funny too, because in that story, if it was the first day, he was brought in. They literally called our uncle in. It was like, listen, man, we got to get an expert right here, dude.
Oh, fuck me. So anyways, good week. Just sorry I had the Woody doll on my mind, but it's
crazy. I watched Toy Story 2 for the first time last night. I mean, it's not, I have a kid, but like I've never seen it and I watched it.
It's really good. The 3 is going to blow your mind, man. Like I'm not kidding when I say this. Here's why the Toy Story trilogy is better than the Godfather trilogy. Full stop. Mean it with my whole heart. And here's why. There's not a Godfather 3 amongst the Toy Stories. Like they are all just absolute gas. Awesome. 3 is like one of the most emotionally fulfilling into a trilogy I've ever seen in my life. And it's fucking toys.
Right. But it's not the end, though.
Yeah, I know that, but just count them as 3 movies, and 4 is also good. But I'm saying like 1 through 3.
And now they're making 5. I'm pretty sure.
I know, and now I like that because the idea between 5 is like the main villain that comes in is going to be an iPad. So like I do like that toy. It's like, oh well, that makes sense. They can, as toys and technology grow, Toy Story.
They could do your idea from a few weeks ago, and they essentially just make Terminator, but it's toys, and the iPad is the Terminator. You know what I mean?
They might be doing that, Trey. That might be what they're doing. That might be Skynet. Like there probably will be something in there about that. But I'm saying 4 is I like it, but just 1 through 3 feels like 3 was the end of a very specific arc, and then 4 has then started it over, in my opinion. Like,
right. Well, you know, immeasurably brilliant and never wrong. Quentin Tarantino's position on it is that he refuses to acknowledge the 4th movie.
Well, that's stupid.
Beyond,
it's good.
The way that Grandpa Simpson does with the state of Missouri or whatever.
No,
he just
dude.
Because he agrees with you. He says the trilogy is perfect.
Right.
And in his mind, it ended there. He thinks they've sullied it by continuing the movie.
It's wild to me that Quentin Tarantino thinks Godfather 4 and Palestine are the same.
What?
We're talking about Toy Story.
He's talking about Toy Story. He's talking about Toy Story, not Godfather.
He has strong opinions on Toy Story. I just assumed.
No. By the way, but I don't agree with that whole
God damn, I ruined a perfect joke. Way to go, Quentin.
I don't agree.
That's twice you've disappointed
I don't
me.
agree.
Well, it's funny because Godfather 4 actually doesn't exist.
Right.
So,
well, there is Godfather 3, the death of Michael Corleone coda, and that it was a different version of 3 that Francis Ford Coppola put out years later to try to save.
I think I must have been thinking of that because I remember it made people mad, and then other people.
And if you go on HBO, it will be like Godfather, Godfather 2, Godfather 3, and then Godfather coda, the death of Michael Corleone, making some people think that there is a fourth Godfather, but actually that
I am some people. Yeah, that is what happened.
Yeah, that's a re-edit of Godfather 3 that Francis Ford Coppola put out years later to be like, no, see, if they'd let me do it my way, it would have hit. Yeah, really, right? And it's like, no. Not
so he
really.
Snyder cutted the Godfather.
Yeah, he Snyder cut. Yeah, he Snyder cutted. It's called again. It's not even called Godfather Part 3.
I'm gonna start calling that my dick. That it's like it's not circumcised. That's the Snyder cut.
It's not. It's not even put out as like the director's cut. It's called a completely different thing. Unless I'm crazy and I dream this. It's called Godfather coda, the death of Michael Corleone, which, as we all know, happens in Godfather 3. He just, sort of re-edited, put some scenes in there. But anyways, I don't believe in the whole, yes, everything me and Quentin Tarantino think about most things is true. And then the first 3 are the best, but I don't think 4 sullies it. You can still just be a normal person and be like, I consider 1 through 3 the tie up of one arc, and then 4 begins a completely different journey, but with our same characters. It does, Sully, just don't. I mean, I guess I would say just don't fucking watch it, but he does do that. He just doesn't watch it, but it's awesome. It's good. It gave us Forky, the trash boy.
I'm so mad I misunderstood what series he was talking about.
Did you see that Snow White joke that not my joke? It was an internet joke that I put in the group chat for Gal Gadot in the Snow White movie. First of all, they made a Snow White live action movie that was a massive fucking flop and dumpster fire in every regard. And Gal Gadot played the evil queen in it, right? It was a picture of her as the evil queen. And it said, is the evil queen from Sleeping Beauty?
Oh, wait.
Snow White is Maleficent. I might be. Katie will be.
I might be wrong. Katie's the one that would know this.
Maleficent and the Evil Queen are not the same ones, but I don't know which one is from Snow White. But either way, the bad person, the villain. It was a picture of Gal Gadot as the villain, right? And the tweet or whatever was. Reportedly, Gal Gadot initially turned down this role until she found out that the film was a bomb directed at children. And then she
Maleficent is Sleeping Beauty. I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Now imagine if whoever tweeted that accidentally tweeted it about a non-Gal Gadot movie. It would just be heartbroken. That's me right now.
But it's like a picture of some other, white lady that hits to look at anyway. When you got to switch gears into Gal Gadot. I don't know if there is anybody that looks like
he did not.
There's several things that have happened this week that have been interesting. We obviously talked. Well, we didn't talk on this show, but we talked on Skews about the Afroman trial, which was absolutely insane. But also Reacher,
phenomenal,
unbelievable. You can't. I'm trying. It was honestly. It kind of felt like how Tiger King felt at first for a minute. Like this new wild thing. And then, of course, Tiger King stopped hitting. But this, so far, the Afroman thing is like the Toy Story franchise. Like, if you just stop at 3, if you right here, it's fucking, it's pretty perfect. Alan Richardson, star of Reacher, beat the fuck out of a dude for messing with him when he was on his motorcycle. And
he shoved him off his motorcycle.
Yeah, he should have done it. Yeah, he should have beat the shit out of that guy.
Under the argument that you can't drive your motorcycle through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day, too.
Right. Not going fast.
He was talking about
with his kids behind him. With not the shover's kids. The guy who got shoved's kids was with him when he got shoved.
Right. And it's like a rich white neighborhood.
Trey, I wanted to ask you, what the fuck?
I
want to ask you both about this, but Trey, yours are older. I watched that video y'all sent. That was the first time I didn't engage with this story because I was like, you never know. Who cares? Hearing about some guy getting beat up, but seeing it, pretty good. But anyway, your kids are there. There's so many masculine and toxic masculine things going on there in terms of setting an example, protecting them, Don't look like a bitch in front of your
Yeah.
sons. Don't teach your sons that violence is the answer. Sometimes violence might be the answer. That had to have been like, I guess
All
I'm
going through
such
his head.
a homer because I hated the other dude. I wasn't even thinking about how bad it was to get your ass kicked on your front lawn in front of a bunch of teenagers who you live by. The whole time I'm like, man, I really feel bad for Reacher here. Imagine having to beat a dude up in front of your sons and how like emotional that
would be
is.
hard, but I do think it was one of those situations where like he got assaulted, like he got pushed off his bike.
Yeah.
And like it is to me, it is. I don't want my kids to ever resort to violence if they don't have to, but it is important for me that Bane knows if that ever happens, you go lay hands. I mean, somebody's got to end that shit.
Well, I don't want a Monday morning quarterback it or whatever, although that's what we're doing here. I love Alan Richardson. I'm a big fan. And I'm sure he was just seeing that was definitely a totally justifiable response. But in terms of your kids being there and everything else, he is also like just a fucking monster of a human being physically.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're that guy, you can probably like, win without like punching the guy on the ground multiple times. But I'm still not saying he shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying if you're that guy and you get pushed off, I think you can get up in the dude's face and really like, fucking
grab his hand and be like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Something like that, and handle it in a way that's like doesn't involve
but he was pretty pissed.
Again, punching a neighbor on the
How
ground.
many times did he hit him? I've only seen one angle, and it's like unclear.
2 or 3,
I know he was like stay down.
Well, actually, the only video I've seen so far is it starts with him already kind of doing it, and he hits him like 2 or 3 more times and then stops. I don't know how many happened before that, but I again, I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that. I'm just saying
your point's well made. Your point's well made. I guess if I was defending him in the trial of a dad court, he did stop. Right. Like I think that's like a good lesson for your kids too. Of like, and you might even be like, I wish I'd have hit him once instead of 4 times, boys. But I hope that you like understand that I got in a position where I could have hurt him and I chose not to, and I didn't want to hurt him at all. But of course, your smart ass son. There's always one. If you have 2, is gonna be like, looked like you did want to hurt him for a second.
That dude from that video too, the guy, the shover, the male Karen, he was like bigger than I thought he would be. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
he looked like a big guy in that.
No,
video.
It's just
the only thing I would say you're wrong about. I knew he'd have to be. I knew he was going to be 5'6" and just think no one will ever hurt me because I'm a little boy. Or he had to be a dude who's not used to anyone.
Right. Because Reacher's like 6'3" or 6'5" or something. And that dude looked like he was close to his height. I'm sure he's nowhere near as jacked, but he was like also a big guy. So
I bet you this also isn't the first time these two have had some words or something, because like that's probably why it got to escalation. So I'm theorizing here, but they live in the same neighborhood. This guy's apparently, per his Facebook post or whatever, a big MAGA guy. Alan Richardson is like a very outspoken.
He's British too, though, by the way, which is always funny. I mean,
the guy was British.
He's a Brit who now lives in Nashville, so it's not that surprising that he's a MAGA guy.
Worst person on the planet.
I thought that too, except we know a Brit who lives in Nashville who kind of
You're right. That is true.
You know him, it's fine, but if you don't know him,
he did move to America because he likes guns, but he hates everything else about. The best I can tell about
that is true. Okay, but for the most part.
And being able to say he likes titties. It seems to be Marcus's favorite things about the right wing is that he's allowed to comment on women's titties openly, and that he likes.
And there's a lot of things Marcus does that if I did not know him personally, I'd be like, that guy's probably sucks.
It's just those two. It's just those two, brother. It's just telling you how good your wife's tits look when she's not around or when she is, and the guns.
And you know what? That's true that those two things are not always indicative of a person being bad. Sometimes that guy just like they're just close. It's like, well, yeah, the bad guy likes those things too because those things hit. So like,
yeah, Dave Chappelle. Honestly, why you keep saying black people like watermelon fried chicken? Everyone
like, honestly
does.
Marcus is kind of a fucking hero. You know what I mean? Like he's not afraid to say what we're all thinking. I want some guns and your wife's tits look nice. We all want to say it, but we're in polite society, so we don't.
Right. It was really the politeness of living in Britain that got him. Now that we think about it, I wanted to say, me and Brian, we watched it at the gym when y'all sent that. I mean, I didn't know, but he was telling me that Reacher's anti-MAGA and that guy's MAGA, and I was like, it's funny to imagine that he was actually doing circles with his kids, showing that guy his nuts and stuff. for like 3
Yeah.
laps, then turned the camera on. Now he's one of the best actors of our generation in action
Right.
films, and just like goes full on. What's your problem, man? I'm doing 20 miles an hour.
That's great. I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, I am too. And you know what else is great is eating well, taking care of yourself. It's hard to do sometimes, but that's where this week's sponsor, Factor, comes in. Y'all know I'm a big fan, have been for a while, because it's hard to match up convenience with quality in terms of food. At least that's been my experience, but not with Factor, and it's springtime now, somewhere between the first warm weekend and realizing that short season is drawing nigh. Eating well stops feeling optional anymore. You're like, I got to get my shit together, right? And Factor can help with that because they have fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs that are ready in 2 minutes, requiring no planning and no cooking. Our Factor box for this week arrived literally this morning. There's some Mexican-y chicken. That's not what it says. They say it in a much better way. It's like you know what I'm saying, cumin and stuff on chicken.
Yeah, Mexican.
There's like a hamburger steak. Yeah, Mexican-y things. There's pork chops.
Mexican hamburger steak. That sounds good.
I like the pork chop options. I'm trying to decide which one I'm going to tackle as soon as we get done here. And it's going to be a tough decision. I might have to flip some coins or something because they all look pretty good to me. Factor has quality functional ingredients with lean proteins, colorful veggies, and healthy fats. They have no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. They make meals that fit your goal and your goals and your schedule. Healthier eating, calorie management, and more protein. There's over 100 rotating weekly meals that you can choose from, so you never get bored, you never get worn out on any of their options. That you can. They have different categories: high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, GLP-1 support. They've got salads on there. They've got a new Muscle Pro collection. If you're trying to bump that protein up and bro out, or sis out, either way, like sister, not like sis, you know what I mean? Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress, so you can stick to your goals and not have to worry about food no more with Factor. So go to factormeals.com/WellRED50 off and use the code WellRED50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with the code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Okay, one more time. That's factormeals.com/WellRED, the number 5, the number 0, off, and use the code WellRED50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Make healthier eating easier with Factor.
Y'all, this podcast is sponsored. It's sponsored and brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace, if you're an idiot like the three of us, is a great website where you can actually make your own website. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace is going to give you everything you need to claim your domain, showcase your offerings with a professional website, grow your brand, and get paid all in one place. I can tell you right now, my dad actually makes websites and stuff. And even he told me, he's like, look, man, there's a lot more to this than people think. And then he found out about Squarespace and he's like, oh God, he's like, I might be screwed here, because even he said, he's like, sometimes I use it because like, it really is just so much easier. You get paid on time if you're using Stripe and stuff like that. If you have products that you're selling and whatnot, you can also streamline your workflow with a built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools. Those are brand new. And I can tell you right now that email tools are exactly what you need for your business. Make smarter business decisions with Squarespace's intuitive built-in analytic tools. Head to squarespace.com/WellRED for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code WellRED to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. I cannot speak. That's squarespace.com/WellRED for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code WellRED to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace. That stuff's good.
Before we continue, just a very quick question, just because I want to know, because Drew was just in the airport with their presence. Did you see ICE agents doing anything but standing around in the airport? Like,
no, but I mean, here's my caveat. I got there at 4. So, all right. So I was in New Orleans this weekend. Let me just get some other things out here. Shout out Sports Drink. I'm wearing the hat. Also, they're about to open a regular club tray. You should go do a weekend there when they do. Awesome community. Awesome owner, Andrew. Awesome crew. Half of the other headliners was supposed to leave on Sunday. I was doing shows on Sunday. Me and Laura Peak co-headline one.
Love it. Our girl.
Dave Borey, for example, he just came back. I know Sean Jordan was getting all the way to Portland. He's got a kid and was like, he just stuck it out. And I think got in a later flight, but they were like in nightmare land on Sunday.
You mean
so because of that,
gave up and left the airport is what you're saying? Because the security lines were so long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he'd like heard, his flight's in 3 hours. He'd heard some people had already been there for 4 or 5. All his friends were back at an Airbnb that was already paid for.
Yeah, I'd left too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and him ate crawfish and had like a really cool talk.
That
then
sounds like a great
we had
day.
breakfast the next day. The next day we had breakfast at the airport. So I get there at 4 for a 7:15 flight because of what I've heard about. That's relevant to your question because I'm in the TSA pre-check line.
Yep.
I'm on one floor lower than where you do TSA pre-check, in line for an escalator where there's a gate agent at the escalator holding people up so that only so many can go up to the floor at a time. So the floor doesn't get too crowded.
Oh my God.
Literally right in front of me. I sent y'all a picture. They let a whole slew of ICE agents on the escalator who had just gotten there as I got on the escalator. That's probably about 5:15. I've probably been at the airport an hour at this point.
And you still haven't gone through.
No, but I'm up the escalator to go through, and it didn't take long after that.
Okay.
It took me about an hour and a half to get through security. But the reason I'm fleshing it out this way to answer Trey's question, they weren't doing shit, but had just gotten there to do anything.
Right.
My attitude, and this was the attitude of most of the people in line, like there was a guy behind me and he goes, well, maybe they'll help out and finally do something worth it.
Right.
And didn't get the sense he was like a raging leftist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was about to make that.
But then like from what I would call was clearly what I would call like the typical conservative black couple. They were talking to everybody. They were calling everybody honey. They own a business. Both their sons own a business. They were talked about Jesus all the time. And for people who don't hang out with black folk, there is like this thing. A lot of them will vote left because of their identity.
Right.
But like,
because the right's racist, but really they're conservative. Yes, right.
That dude makes that. And then they were like, there ain't no way they're helping us.
Right. Dude.
So nobody was believing in it. That was definitely the temperature in the room. To me, the temperature of the dudes there, it really looked kind of pitiful. I felt like it was a lot of jabronis who were like, man, we ain't even going to get a crack my fucking heads in the cover of darkness.
We didn't get to go to Minnesota.
And the other half was like, I'd never wanted to be here. Now I'm at a fucking airport with a bunch of Karens at 4 a.m. But I didn't see them do anything. But I only saw them for about 20-ish minutes.
Because that's what I'm thinking about, talking, making a stupid video about it or whatever. But I haven't been to the airport. I flew home on Sunday. I haven't been to an airport since this started. And
Monday was the day.
Right. And so I'm wanting to basically make, say that they ain't doing that they're just standing around basically with their thumbs up for the most part. Because I know that Tom Homan, everybody said, it's like, well, they're not going to do actual security checking because they're not trained for that. Like that's ever
like they're right.
But and so then it's like, well, what are they doing? It's like, well, they'll stand by the door so a TSA agent doesn't have to stand by the door and he can go do other shit and that or whatever.
They're going to intimidate.
Yeah, they could have done what the person at the escalator was doing, but also aren't there a few videos of them doing?
I know.
Well,
shit? That's why I know. I know there's at least one, and so I was gonna like acknowledge that, but it's mostly just like a lot of the like jokes that I have in my head that I want to make involve them not doing anything. So I don't want to like be wrong.
That was my first takeaway. My first takeaway from seeing it at the Atlanta airport was like, this is going to end up being the worst PR ICE has ever had because that's like, if you put them in that situation, like the rednecks around here that all support ICE and what they did in Minnesota, it's because it didn't make them late to work that day. You know what I mean? It happened up there. But you go to Atlanta airport where every single type of person goes through Atlanta airport every day. So you're getting a really good census of who people are. And now ICE is inconveniencing you and their presence somewhere is fucking up the fucking chain of commerce. Like you're going to have a lot of people that were like, hell yeah, we love ICE being like, I don't think they fucking need to be anywhere. They're kind of annoying.
Well, let me give a plug to Gravy Baby and pitch you a joke theme, Trey. I might come up with the joke as I'm pitching it and just give you the whole joke. We had Eric Schmidt on Gravy Baby, who is a union rep for TSA and the deputy director or assistant deputy director of politics for the union. I fucked up his title. That is responsible for TSA agents in all of California, Arizona, and Nevada. Go check that interview out. It's rad. But for people who don't know exactly what's going on, the budget for TSA is tied up in an argument, literally just about putting body cameras on DHS
and keeping them. I think they want them to be ID'd visibly. They're not allowed to wear masks anymore. And body cameras, I think, are the main thing.
Right. So just like the biggest nothing burger. Like I can't believe anyone's fighting over it. It's like Republicans especially, but even Democrats, there's a part of me that's like, hey, maybe don't let them put all the protesters on camera. Could be a backfire ultimate all time in a year from now. Anyway, so we've got these backups at these airports because TSA hasn't been paid in like 35 days and they're not allowed to strike. So people just kind of aren't going to work. And a lot of times they're just using their personal and their sick days and they're doing it on a Sunday because they want to stay home with their family. And Sunday's the biggest travel day. So it really gets fucked mostly on Sundays. So what's happening is the people who are there do know what they're doing and they're on a skeleton crew. And now people who are getting paid, because there's the kicker,
too, yes.
ICE and DHS, somehow their budget is tied together, but they get paid separately.
I know.
So everyone has had the experience, Trey. Here's a prime joke of some dipshit who don't know what he's doing, coming in here telling me how to do my fucking job, and he's getting paid and I'm not.
I was going to say something, certainly going to, obviously their morale's real low or whatever. And nothing's better for morale than seeing like 3 dudes who, couldn't get accepted into TSA 2 months ago that are getting paid, like showing each other Nick Fuentes clips and fucking giggling by the gate or whatever while you're getting your ass handed to you for nothing, or
and
whatever.
Then being like, you ain't doing it right.
Yeah.
You go over there.
But
it's the ultimate
to piss them off,
son.
like I'm sure it does. The TSA, I'm just saying, like literally who wants them there, and then, but since you had been there, I just wanted to ask, if you saw them doing anything like, anything really, but I'm just kind of standing there.
No. And it felt like literally no one wants this, including them. I mean, because they want something much darker. They want to go like do something, but no one wanted it, dude. Also, let me say this. A lot more minorities in that group of officers than I expected. I mean, like 50%.
Really?
I've
Mexican
seen that brought up before. I know that
all types, brother.
I think that maybe the Pretty shooter or shooters were both. I remember that coming up, people pointing that out, which I don't know. That's wild.
We've done it.
Think that's about.
We've done it, dude. We've rainbow flagged the bombs all the way to now. All the fascists are black people.
True equality.
Can I just say, as a white man, it feels good. Like, what a fucking relief off my back.
Yeah, and also they're not going to be as good as we were at it. You know what I mean? Like, we got to.
Yeah, it's the only. They're trying to take our culture.
It's not their thing. I mean, I'm not saying there can't be a dominant one, but like for the most part, that's an us thing.
Yeah. You think that's because of white rappers? They got mad at how good Eminem was. They were like, "Fuck this, I'll go
turn it around." That really does seem to be the only. Aside from Eminem, like in order to be a white rapper, you either have to be kind of goofy or a militant Nazi. Like those are the only 2 flavors of white rappers.
The goofy part I think is just white. But I remember thinking, I remember saying, I think I like fucking tweeted or something when I found out about G-Eazy or whatever. I was like, I know. I'm not saying he don't suck. What I'm saying is I really wish I would have known, and I'm just kidding. I would have done this either way. But I really wish I would have known as a white trash 13-year-old in 1999 that one day you could just be a white rapper.
Right. You could just do it.
Because back then, Eminem, that was it. Like nobody was going to let nobody but fucking Eminem do it. And every
he earned it.
It's just a joke. But now, dude, and I like Jack Harlow, but there's G-Eazy and
I like Jack Harlow a lot.
There's a bunch of guys.
I think he's the exception to what Corey said.
Just white dudes that are rappers.
And by the way, Dickie's goofy, but that man can rap his fucking.
Yeah, no, he can't for sure, dude. And I mean,
Goofy
hell,
as hell,
dude.
to
I mean,
Corey's
Prof
point.
is kind of like that. Granted, his goofiness is he's got a
Love
whole
Prof.
different thing going on. Like, and I love him so much. Like, he's
great.
goofy, but
He
in a
hasn't
manly
broken
kind
through,
of
so I
way.
didn't consider him for this like combo, but he's close to breaking through. He might be the next
I
one on
hope.
the short list of like
I hope
respected and
he's
great.
awesome, but he does have that sort of. He's got a specific style, and his videos are funny, and he's a flamboyant type dude. But I wouldn't. He's not goofy. I don't know. He's got so much swag.
He's honestly like first album Eminem. My bum is on your lip.
Yeah,
It's like
hell, I
that.
mean, Eminem was
It's
always
like,
goofy too, really.
Oh, for sure, for
Fack,
sure.
You know, the song Fack.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
yeah. And then he killed his wife. That was so silly.
Yeah, well, he was always a wild
Multiple times.
combination of, you know,
Yeah.
goofy and horror core or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. What was
I ate at Pesh. Have y'all ever ate at Pesh or Cochon Butcher?
Not.
These were new to me. Some of my
In
boys
Nola?
recommended them who I was there
spelled
with.
Pesh?
In
Pesh.
Well, it could be Pesce. We actually argued about it. It's Peche.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so not Joe Pesci's place.
So the first
No,
thing
I
I
don't
thought
think
was Joe
so.
Pesci too when he said
Pesci's-
Pesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's a
Yeah,
outdated
I
reference.
didn't see him
Yeah.
there. He wasn't on the menu, but we went in. I mean, we went some places I've been before, but those are the two new ones, and I gotta say, great,
That does
great
it.
time
What,
as always.
Corey? You brought up two things. One of them was Reacher, and the other one was something else. Oh, Afroman.
Afroman. There was a secret third thing, which was the quadruple amputee cornhole champion murder. Which did y'all watch those videos Mark sent of that dude playing cornhole? It's a fucking tremendous.
Did you see him loading and shooting a gun?
I skipped that one because my heart couldn't take it. I wanted to believe.
Handy capable, buddy.
I wanted to believe his capabilities stopped at throwing a beanbag. I was like, oh, please don't let it. But it's like that
lethal
guy.
weapon.
He hits harder than me, and he just fucking bobbing around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I figured it out.
Cat Williams going to do a great 30 minutes on this, by the way. It's going to be
white people
unbelievable. Like, remember little Tink? This
Of
motherfucker.
course. Oh, little Tink.
This motherfucker ain't even got the tinks. He's tinkless.
They said that they found him with the body in his car, or he like took the body. That part was also wild to me.
So
Maybe I'm wrong
shoot
about
a gun,
that
but he
part.
can't run away, which is an insane combination
I'm
of skills
saying
to have.
the thing I read made it sound like he also like was attempting to dispose of the body or something.
By eating it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Like a cat.
But I might be wrong about that. I might have just misread that part. But I remember reading that too and thinking, like, bro, this
motherfucker just nudging a body slowly off a cliff for 5 days. Just
one of my buddies was like, how's he gonna do that when he can't even wipe his ass? And I immediately thought, well, we've solved the motive here, and they're both in the right. I get it. He mouthed off. She refused to wipe his ass, and then he killed her. Like, and I understand both of their positions. Like, fuck you and your cornhole, man. And then he was like, all right, well, that's literally what.
Sit over there, you stinking booty ass little bitch. Like, just get you determine if a man's asshole is clean, and then he shit talks you.
And then he shoots you because you wouldn't clean
But
his
how
butt.
much time? You know that she had to be if she was there the whole time he was loading the gun, that's got to take a minute.
It was a woman. I thought it was,
I thought he killed his wife. Am I wrong?
The person's name who was killed is Bradrick Michael Wells.
Oh.
That might be a woman, I guess. But
I was told it was his wife.
Also,
now it's all different.
Not to speak
Bradrick
Michael.
Dude, a guy named Bradrick said some shit you're not supposed to say to a quadruple amputee.
I want to pick him blind.
Bradrick, no one's ever deserved getting killed.
I was about to say, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but
yes.
it's not just Bradrick. It's Bradrick Michael Wells. Like, that sounds like a dude from a ski resort movie that tries to buy it. And, I mean, again, I'll need to see all the facts, but right now, based on pure emotion, I'm going with the armless, legless boy.
Me too. Here's my question: where does he go to prison? And how's
He
that?
through the slot.
Listen,
Push him through the slot.
Listen to this.
He's pretty chunky.
Listen to this. It says,
how do you lose weight?
It says that there was two witnesses. Apparently, it says that
one of them was reported as saying, "You ain't gonna believe this shit."
Right. Yeah. They said that they said he picked him up. He was driving, so there's that. He was driving the car. He picked these two witnesses up. They get in the back seat. Bradrick Wells was in the front passenger seat. Okay, they're driving, and an argument breaks out between the two, right? And in the midst of this argument, the quadruple amputee who's driving this car pulls out a firearm and shoots him twice in the head, and then says he pulled the vehicle over and asked the people in the back if they would get the body out of the car.
I now think they did it, and they're setting him up. They're like, look, dude, I've seen him shoot a gun.
They refused, and they got out of the car and ran off is what it says.
No, they did it. That's who did it.
Hold on.
They did it. Corey, they did it.
Of course they did. He's which first off, the amount of levers and stuff that he would have in his way for him to drive, he can't pull I didn't watch the video of him shooting, but like, I'm certain that he can do it, but like, ain't it a process? Doesn't it take a minute?
It's a little bit of one.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit of one. Maybe Bradrick was taunting him the whole time. You can't do it.
But he's driving and pulls out, nubs a gun out, and then man, I mean, dude, again, like, I really do feel like if he did, though,
I know you can indict a ham sandwich. Can you try a torso?
Right? Like, my thing is like, obviously murder's bad, but I feel like this dude ain't got no arms and legs, so he gets one. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to when you're trying him in a jury, you got to at least give him a little. Well, I'll be goddamn points. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
Oh yeah, he'll get 10 years for like murder 3. There ain't no way they're gonna murder 1 him. Yeah, I think you got to be this tall to get murder 1.
Didn't even go. How much do you think he weighs?
I don't know, but you said earlier he ain't got the tanks. He does have the tanks, just so you know.
He got the tanks. He just don't use the tanks when he cornholes.
There's a picture of him I'm seeing right here in one of these stories, and he seems to be playing cornhole, and he's got the tanks. I know he don't always be tanked up.
Well,
I've seen him cornhole.
I have too.
I've seen him
I'm now looking at a picture of him.
You think there's some leagues? There's some leagues that won't let him use it. That's what.
You can't.
Not in our league, son. We're not getting the Oscar Pistoria bullshit.
You can't use performance enhancement legs. But so I've seen him tinkless, but if he's tinked up, that would make driving easier. So now I'm not as impressed. I mean, I am, but like, does he have an arm tank?
Well, it's like,
can you tink an arm?
Maybe he got a gun arm tank.
Yeah,
I keep it on me.
Like
keep that thing on him.
Like it's there, just you know.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know, getting shot by like a pirate from the 17th century with like a flintlock. Like, you get in an argument and then he's like, hang on, you cur, and then he pulls out one of those things, puts a little pouch of powder in it, and starts shoving the thing, and you're just standing there staring at it the whole time, and waiting on him to shoot you with it. It feels like it would take roughly that amount of time to me.
It also
for that
feels
guy
like
to pull out a gun and cap you with it, but maybe not.
It would also
sort of feel like his whole life. Maybe we should stop.
It would also sort of feel like getting shot by a dog in a way. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, damn, I didn't like, I would have the same shock on my face if I saw a dog shoot someone, if I saw someone who didn't have no arms and legs shoot one. Like, Air Bud.
No, I think I know what you mean, because if I saw either a dog or that guy shoot you, Corey, I would feel sad tomorrow, but for a solid 7 hours, I would be so happy, dude. I would be like, yeah, but do you understand he died exactly how
I'm just saying, like,
do you know that he got all of his dreams in one fell swoop?
Yeah, all I'm saying is, like, if last week you'd told me, you said, hey, who do you think we're going to take a motherfucker with no arms and no legs, tinkless, in my brain would be tinkless, no arms, no leg, tinkless. We're starting tomorrow. We've got him and a golden retriever. Which one of these two do you think we can train to shoot someone quicker? I'd have gone with Air Bud. I'd have been like, you can get the dog there, but like...
Well, you're assuming it's Air Bud. I mean, I think I agree with you, but he's the GOAT. That's the LeBron James of dogs. What if it's just a regular ass?
Well, because it's not even an intelligence question at this point. It's physics. It's like, how the fuck does how does he do it? Like,
well, you got to watch the video. You refuse to. Mark sent us the video.
I can't. That hurts.
It's very funny that
Torsen prison, by the way, that's where we decided he was going to go. Stuck in Torsen prison.
That's
time keeps scooting.
It's funny, Raven, that he himself posted a video on social media of, like, Me at the range, just absolutely very.
I'm not gonna lie. He seems like kind of a dick. Like if you see him do interviews post cornhole event, it seems like he's really full
Like
of
he
himself.
don't realize.
But it takes less of
he
himself
didn't seem
to
like
be
one of
full
those-
of himself. Do you know what I mean? There's less of
That's
himself
true.
there to be
Right,
full
right,
of. So
right. All
he gets there.
ego.
He gets there more quickly.
He's
yeah.
mostly head. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I got a heart out, boys. I gotta scoot myself. I gotta tink on out
We'll
here.
tink on out of here. Tell everybody where you're gonna be first.
I'm gonna be in Denver this weekend at the Denver Comedy Lounge on Friday and Saturday. I'm on every show. So come on out. I got Bristol, Tennessee coming up in May. Yeah.
All right.
I gotta go
see
though.
Drew.
I got a son right now.
Go see Drew.
Bye, y'all.
Everybody. But yeah, I just so there's been it's been a wild week, is what I'm saying. I said all of that. I set all of that up to say like this. Drew had touched on it earlier in the text thread with the Afroman stuff, where it's like, man, this Afroman thing is like sort of giving me hope. Like between the Jack Reacher thing, the Afroman thing, and then just frankly how much I've laughed at this quadruple amputee murder thing. It sort of did to me what that hormone does to women whenever they, have a baby and then it shoots out and makes them forget how hard having a baby was. Otherwise, they would never do it again. It's been like that, but me just thinking that the world's going to be okay. Like I was like, oh yeah, things hit, you know what I mean? And then I went back to the news and I was like, got me again. Funny stuff that happened, But I guess that's what they mean by like laughter truly is the best medicine, because like me and everyone that I know should have killed ourselves so long ago, and we just every day something happens that makes us go, I'll stick around tomorrow. I got to see what the legless guy pleads,
Do you think that like all these people we know that just like, I don't do politics, they don't engage with what's going on at all. And so they're not racked with like anxiety and despair all the time. Like,
yeah,
even if like worst comes to worst, the bombs fall, total societal collapse or whatever, like, do you think there'll be like a moment for them where they're like, oh no, or do you think, because I kind of don't,
look at
because
the
it's
stars.
Even if they do think about it, it's like, well, what was I going to do? You know what I mean? It's not like anything would have been different if,
right.
all these dumbasses. Well, no, that is not
true.
True. That's not true at all. If all these people that I'm talking about had been engaged, in my opinion,
it wouldn't have happened.
This could have been avoided. Yes. So, but they'll never realize that no matter what, is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know, it's like not being into politics as a medieval peasant. And then one day, a Viking ship shows up and just kills your whole family and takes your land or whatever. But it's like, you wasn't going to do nothing about it anyway. So why worry about Vikings, I guess. But
that's the thing that makes me laugh whenever like an older person tries to give you this sage wisdom of like, when you're going like, man, the country's going down this dark path and like we're spiraling head first into fascism and like World War III is looming. And an older person will be like, I've lived so long that there were so many times when we thought the world was going to end or something bad was going to happen. And then like we made it through and I, so you don't need to worry about it. And it's like, we made it through because there were a lot of people who were worried about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the
also that whole long time you've lived was just here, you didn't live any of that time in Cambodia under Pol Pot or whatever. Yeah. Right. Like sometimes you don't.
But even here, like these people were alive. Some of these people saying this were alive for the civil rights marches and stuff. It's like, do you think that Martin Luther King just knocked on the president's door and go, hey, it's about time? And they were like, you're right. We were thinking about it. All right, black people, they can have all that. No, it was years of worrying and doing something and making actionable decisions and things. And like, and by the way, there's part of me that like, it's if you see the bombs coming and you have the attitude of like, what was I going to do anyways? I still get that a little bit. Like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what was I going to do? I just don't think those people should be telling everybody, don't worry. It's like, if you want to be passive, that's fine. But you need to be passive in a way that at least acknowledges that some people do need to do something about something. Otherwise, it literally never would change. Like, again, in 1920, Congress didn't wake up and go, all right, women should vote. Like, no, people were worried and they said shit. And like, that's how it works. But, what are we going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Write for you at CoreyWritesForYou.com. And I'd love it if you subscribe. It'd be fantastic. Trey, what are you going to do? I'll be in Atlanta Sunday. I'll be in Atlanta Sunday at the Punchline. March 29th at the Punchline with my buddy Greg Behrens. Y'all come see me in Atlanta.
I'm at Burlington, Vermont this weekend. We added a matinee show on Saturday, so that hits. But so get tickets for that and come see me. Then coming up in April is Raleigh and Philly and a bunch of other fun places all over the place in the coming months. So all at TreyCrowder.com. Come and see me. Please, and love of God.
Listen and watch our other podcast, Putting on Air's Weekly Skews and Gravy Baby. And also, let me do an extra sales pitch for Trey. If you're someone out there and there's the other shows are sold out and you're thinking like, oh, I don't know about a matinee. Like, I don't know about comedy.
Those hit harder.
They're the best shows ever. They're the best shows ever. Everybody's in such a good mood because they're not tired because it's late at night. Mm-hmm. And then what's great is when the show's going on because it's dark in there, you'll be tricked into thinking it's like 10:30 at night. And then you walk outside and it's still bright and you have your whole day left in front of you. I would prefer to do all of them that way.
So
they're
almost
amazing. Everyone
I ever talked to, and I'm talking about at clubs, club managers, club staff, club owners, maybe not so much, but like, and audience members, waiters, waitresses, whatever, they all like it better. But it's like, it's a tough spot for comedy clubs because like Thursday and Friday night, people have work that day. You can't really,
of course, you can't do a
matinees. But I think comedy clubs should just, for the weekend show, Saturday and Sunday, they should just make that the standard in my opinion. I really do think, as long as you got like blackout,
and if you sell out, do a later one.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know,
or add an even earlier one, dude. I personally would rather do a show at 11:30 a.m. than 10 p.m. That's just me. I'm getting a little bit older, and whatever. Anyway, thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Fart. I synchronized fart.
We're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. We collected from our love of Downton Abbey. We collected, we found out we're both so fancy. Hey, what's the difference between rednecks and royal families? Only money, cause they both have sex with family. Ew. Putting on airs. What other rednecks to talk about foreign affairs? Laughing so hard that we end up falling out our chairs. Sir Trey, Sir Corey, oh what a pair. High class topics with a redneck flair. Oh yeah. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Okay, it's Team Squirrel or Team Trey. Oh yeah, we keeping it basic. He thinks that the squirrels at Corey's mom's house are racist. And you know squirrels live in the same place for generations. So Trey, you better count your days and you better count your blessings. Cause all the squirrels that you ran over, that you think are nameless, faceless, their families are getting together and plotting on you from the attic and basement. So even though Corey is dumb, fat, and bald, he knows how to avoid drama, don't get squirrels involved. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs.